Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to the Blue Bud Wisdom Show, a podcast created to share simple tools to break you free from the mind chatter, reclaim your divinity, and support your journey to freedom and happiness. I'm your host, Ellyn Katherine S1, spiritual wealth catalyst and healer. Now let's jump into your dose of ancient wisdom. Hi everyone. So I'm really excited to be sharing about my experience over the last couple of weeks. And the reason why I want to share this experience is because I've been talking a lot about the life lessons and about different scenarios and awareness, and bringing awareness to your everyday life so you can be conscious of what it is that you're creating on a daily basis. And I thought that this experience that I'm going to share with you is a good way for you to kind of see how I would implement the life lessons in my life and how you can do the same. So a little bit of the backstory for myself. I came from, you can say, corporate world, where I worked for different corporations and small businesses, but I was always the manager. I went from being an assistant manager when I first started out, all the way up to being like a director of 4 locations with other managers that I was overseeing. So the reason why I'm sharing this experience with you is because throughout my time as a manager and all my job experiences, I've always had the same theme, and it was always about power, and it was always about confidence. And I'm not going to go deep into those stories, but the thing that I want to share with you the most is how the experiences that I've had were created for me to learn how to get my power back. And I saw that very clearly a couple of times as I started going down my spiritual path, when I brought more awareness to, why I was experiencing certain challenges and what these challenges are actually teaching me. Because what my philosophy is that everything that is in our universe, what we create, who we encounter, is all part of a lesson for us. Every single person that is in our life is teaching us a lesson or helping us down that path in that particular phase. And I really, really urge all of you to look at your life as if it's a movie, because that's what I've been saying for a really long time, is every single person is just playing a role that they were meant to play as before they came in to reincarnate on this earth. We can call it a classroom or whatever when we're in the angelic realm and choosing the life that we want, and kind of choosing the people that we're going to be with in this lifetime and what their role is going to be. And it's so amazing how, when you actually start to bring attention and awareness to what these life lessons are, you can really pinpoint and start to look at things through those lenses and say, wow, be the observer and just say, wow, I see that this situation is just an experience for me to learn this lesson. Okay, it looks like I haven't really learned this lesson yet. So my experience that I just wanted to share with you, and that I've been going through over the last couple of weeks, is as I am, working for myself, I was also helping somebody else with their business. And while I was working for this person really played a really, really important role in my life, because there were certain situations that had happened throughout our time working together. And it was a very short relationship, but there was this dynamic of, we built a strong relationship together. It was more on a personal level, but working together brought my energy down, because what it was doing was sucking my energy dry and mainly because of the things that I was hearing from this person. Um, by all means, they meant the best for me, but at the same time, this person who is a psychic and a medium and has these abilities and has been doing this for so many years was saying something to me that really, really did not resonate well with my body. And it made me go on overdrive thinking. I literally went on a rampage amount of overthinking and really causing my body a lot of stress. And while I was under all this stress, I noticed that I was actually being an observer in this situation. I was realizing when I was feeling overwhelmed, and I right away was able to flip the switch. I looked at it as the observer, as the ego was coming up and trying to be a victim and trying to look at things in a negative standpoint. But these things are happening because, number one, it's a great way to purge, because when you realize this, you bring it to your awareness and you're intentionally making the shifts that you want to make so that you can get to your next level of ascension. I saw this as like a great opportunity. And I also realized, as the observer, I'm feeling this right now. This is what is happening in my world. And the fact that I am questioning it makes me understand that it is my my ego self that is not trusting the voice of my higher self. I'm clearly guided to leave because whatever is happening in this dynamic is causing me to shut down and to not have confidence in myself. And realizing this and understanding that I was dealing with certain life lessons, I realized that one major theme throughout all my jobs has been giving my power away and making other people make me feel small. Now, when I say that you are a goddess, that you have all the power within you, what I mean is nothing and no one can say or do anything that can take away how you really feel about yourself. And you can only tell how you really feel about yourself through the eyes of your higher self. When you are looking at a version that is at a different stage, when you're looking through the lens of a different stage of who you are, you realize that this is just a person that is playing their role. So what happened with me was I decided that this relationship was no longer a working relationship that I wanted to entertain. And I realized that I don't want to go through another round of learning these lessons. So you know what? I'm just going to take my power back and I'm not going to allow this to mess with me anymore. Now, that's not to say that these life lessons are not going to keep coming up. They are always going to be coming up. What this whole game is about is how we're looking at it and how we're going to deal with it. What are we going to do different this time that we haven't implemented before? Now that we're the observer, how are you going to take this new information and new experience that you just had and change the course of your life, change the way you react, change the way you move forward? So in my situation, after I had resigned, I, number one, felt so much better because it was like something that was pressing me and I knew that my body needed it. And another thing was, as I was going through this experience of trying to find and help her find a new assistant, I also realized that my ego mind was going on rampage about how I should just be angry with this person, and how, this person wronged me or made me feel bad. And as I'm observing what these thoughts are, another side of me says, well, why do you need to be upset with this person? She just played her role. She played the role that she's supposed to be playing. And then the ego mind goes, well, everybody loves her. Everybody thinks that she's amazing. Why can't I see that she's amazing? Why did I just have to leave? And then the other voice said, well, because she is an amazing person in their reality, but in your reality, because she needed to teach you a certain lesson, it's not the same. So really, she just played the role that she had to play in order for you to get into the next stage. And great. Once you see that, and once I saw that, I realized, wow, I don't have to be angry with her. That's the lesson of forgiveness. And when I realized that I forgive her because I know that she was just doing whatever she was set out to do, I'm fine with it. And we can continue to have an amicable kind of relationship where I don't have to feel that anger and rage and shame that I used to feel in my other positions when I used to leave, or when I used to get fired, or whenever I had to deal with whatever situation I dealt with at work. Now, again, I don't want to go into the stories of what my lessons were in the past, but I saw this being in the same theme because I was the observer, and I realized that this was just a common thing, and this was just for me to get my power back. And now, because I know that I am not holding any grudges because this person just played a role that they set out to play, there's nothing for me to be angry about. There's absolutely nothing for me to feel this rage about. I don't have to feel these emotions, negative emotions towards this person. But I'll tell you this, if I did feel negative emotions towards this person, I would ask myself, why? Because it all comes down to, number one, taking responsibility, because we are creating whatever it is that we see in our life. But we are creating it because we are still in the lens of the lesson that has not been learned and applied. So we look at that, and then we're able to process that once the answer comes up. Because once you're in the observer, you can really see things at a deeper level. And then you can reflect deeper. And you can ask your higher self these questions, and your higher self will start answering whatever it is that you need to know. May not be right away, because if you're in the position of overthinking and trying to figure it out right away, you are not going to hear the voice of your higher self, because your mind is just on overdrive. You need to be in a calm state of mind in order for you to get answers. This is why people say get into a meditative state. This is why people say calm yourself down, breathe, because it helps you get into a calmer state of mind where you are actually able to get answers flowing. So to wrap up this episode, I just want you to understand that being the observer, analyzing what it is that you are, or not, I'm not going to say analyzing is not the word, reflecting, and being able to see your situations, your experiences as just a movie playing out with the way you had wanted it. And that's not to say just, oh, this is what she did, all right, great, and move on. Make sure that you really understand what lesson it's playing for you. Because once you understand what emotions these lessons are tied to, or what emotions are tied to certain lessons. And once you understand what life events are tied to certain life lessons, you're going to be able to pick up on these things right away. Having the awareness of the life lessons is the very, very first stage. Because once you understand, oh, there are certain life lessons that come up under each category. Oh, and there are certain emotions tied to each life lesson. You get to bring that awareness into your mind, because then when it actually happens, that's when you start to make the shifts. So with my experience, I was the observer, and I heard the voices in my head trying to get me into victim mode. Those are the shadow voices. They try to get you into this feeling, because it doesn't want you to move on. It wants to keep you in that same feeling, that same environment that it's used to being in. And changing course is something that the shadow voices, or the shadow, is not used to. And therefore, it's going to speak loud until it realizes that you're just going to keep on listening to your higher self. And you're just going to keep on aligning your mind to your feelings, and having that body and mind alignment, so that you can retrain your body to start thinking and feeling accordingly. So I hope this was helpful, so that you can see how you can apply this knowledge and really make it become wisdom. Because what you're doing is you're taking this knowledge and you're applying it to your experiences, and you're allowing your pain to transform into wisdom. With that said, I'm signing off, and I look forward to the next episode. Bye. Thanks for joining me this week on the Blueblood Wisdom Podcast. Make sure to visit my website, EllynKatherine.com, where you can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. And while you're at it, be sure to take a moment and give me a 5-star rating on iTunes, and share or tell your friends about the show. I'd love to share the wisdom further, and your help will make that happen. Be sure to tune in next week for my next episode.